Welcome back to Sustained Overruled. I am the anonymous attorney. Well, this past weekend, we've been doing nothing but gossiping, okay? Today is no different. The gossiping has extended into the week, but I will be back covering the trial tomorrow. Starting off, today's show is a bit different because I have done some digging and I do have some answers, okay? I have some answers to some of your questions, but we are going to start off with some gossip, all right? So I have found a live here. Let me share it. I have found a live, I have a little presentation. Okay, so this is infamous Sylvia's website, not website, YouTube page, and she previously interviewed. Let's go in here. She interviewed Shannon's fiance on, I don't know, it was a live stream, so that I can go with this date, December 11, 2023. We're starting off with this video, and then I'm going to break it down because I do have answers for you. Okay, obviously you're here. You're trying to find out how did Shannon marry Kayla Bumpus from behind bars, allegedly. I still do not believe that they're married, but we're going to dig into some laws, regulations, protocols when it comes to Texas and Georgia, especially when one of the parties is incarcerated. So let me start off with this. One moment. Let's start off with this. I don't know why she doesn't sound.
All right. Hello, Miss Alexander. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Miss Sylvia.
This is
So,
Shannon's
tell us a
fiance.
little bit about what happened. Do you know exactly what happened in the jail, or?
Well, I don't know exactly what happened.
Obviously, as you can see, this is not Kayla Bumpus. This is not Kayla Bumpus.
I'm sorry. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. I don't know what actually happened, but I do know now from speaking with his lawyers that he was stabbed 2 times in the back. And
You're just joining. This is Shannon Stillwell's fiance, or at least as of during this period, December 11, 2023, she was engaged to be married to Shannon. This is
in the stomach.
Kayla. What's her name?
He's in recovery right now. He was in surgery for 2 hours, but he is in recovery right now, and his lawyers are on the way to see him now.
Okay. Do you know who did it?
No, ma'am.
Was it the same person that did it, that stabbed him last year?
She just said she doesn't know.
I don't know because he was supposed to be in protected custody, so I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who did it.
Do you know about what time this happened?
You're a ray, aren't you? A ray of sunshine. I do have answers, so stay tuned.
Yes, ma'am. Like around, it had to be like 11, 10:40, 11-ish.
Ray, do you think, what's her name? Taisha? Hold on. Do you think Taisha, is her name Taisha? Yeah, there it is. Do you think Taisha looks like Kayla? I don't think so. I mean, maybe the cheekbones.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So when it happened, when I got the call, I just called his grandma, and then I started calling the jail. We all calling the jail now. No one was answering, so I just
This is
went
from
there. I just drove there.
2023. It's not recent.
Okay,
I didn't get there.
As we've gone through this saga, we found out that Shannon was married to not married, engaged to somebody else, which I presume is Taisha. It's also come to light, at least through the comments, that Kayla was allegedly in a relationship with somebody. She has 2 kids. We're trying to see when these 2 parties come together, if they do in fact come together.
Until about 1:30-ish, and I stayed till like 3:30.
Oh, 3:30 in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you said the surgery took about 2 hours. Did they have surgery on his back as well?
See, his lawyer said he was gonna call me because he just know that he got stabbed in the back and the stomach.
Okay.
So he said the surgery took 2 hours. So he said it was pretty bad. It had to be pretty bad.
So he's stable, right?
They said he's stable. He's in recovery, so I don't really know.
With this, we're trying to start off a timeline. We're going to look at some jail records in a moment.
Oh, I don't know.
So have you called the hospital? Will they give you information?
Oh yeah, they said because I just left the jail before I got home, and they told me that don't go to Grady because they'll lock me up.
Why
So
would they lock you up?
Why?
I guess because they got him hidden and
What?
protected. Like now he's back in protected custody. I guess
That doesn't
like
make sense.
he's isolated,
Why would
so
they lock
I
you
can't
up?
go down there looking for him and stuff like that because I'll get locked up. They just told me that when I just left.
Why would you
I
get
mean,
locked up?
yeah, that.
I don't know.
I mean, he's in
Wow.
custody,
Okay.
but I don't know about getting
All
locked
right.
up.
Just know that you and your family are in our prayers. There's anything else that you would like me to share with the people to let them know what's going on with you?
I just want to say thank you everybody that's reaching out, and Shannon is very strong, so he's gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. Great. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you for
Obviously,
this.
he recovered.
All
Thank
right.
you, Sylvia.
All right. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Good
Okay.
All right, so this is the starting point. December 11, 2023. It's kind of the midpoint, actually. December 11, 2023. The information is that Shannon was engaged to be wed to somebody by the name of Taisha Alexander. Okay. So we're going to stop sharing and then we're going to move on to the next. I have a presentation out here. I did not get time to put it in presentation form, but I have some information that I had to look up. Let's see. What is Red saying? Oh no, I can go there. All right, so that's a starting point. Now I am going to share. Let's see. We're going to go to the Fulton County Jail. We're going to their website. We are creating a timeline here. Let's see. All right. Okay, so Ray says that he or she think that they favor each other. Red agrees, I believe. I need my glasses. I cannot see. Okay, so Red agrees with that. And then we have Greg. Greg, thanks for coming back. Greg says the ex was set upon by two. This is too much going on. She shot one of the attackers in the leg, charged with oh my goodness, too much going on. But let me move on to the next portion here. All right, we're going to take a quick look at, am I sharing the right page? Yes, I am. We're going to take a look at this is the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, okay? Because in order to actually I need to enlarge this. Hold on. In order to get to our answers, the ultimate question is whether Shannon and Kayla Bumpus are in fact, married to, if they are in fact married, um, how were they able to, or what were the logistics involved if they are in fact married? I did not think when I started off, covering this rumor, I did not think that they were married just because a lot of things did not make sense. If you don't know, I am a licensed attorney. I used to be a prosecutor, moved on to public defense, but now I do civil litigation. And just based on my background, having worked in criminal courts, a lot of this did not make sense. So let's get back to the sheriff's website. Hold on. Okay, so here, I need to go get my glasses, but I don't have time. In any event, so we're taking a look at some of the inmate activities, okay? Ultimately, we're going to land on the tablets to see, because it's come to light that in Texas, you can get married remotely, okay? Um, as I was covering this, I figured it might have been a development that was brought about during the pandemic. And as I looked into it, it turns out or at least the article that I read said that it started out in New York and, it gained traction all over the country. So we're starting out with the inmate activities. This is what they offer. They have snacks. I don't know why they said snack foods, but snacks, writing paper, stamps, envelopes, socks, underwear, t-shirts, bras, toiletries, and playing card. And each housing unit may purchase commissary once a week. Is that enough? I don't know. Okay, so they have a medical unit, they have religious services, educational programs for inmates include high school diploma, sewing, culinary arts, and the like. Actually they have AA and NA meetings. So, auto body, welding, they have library services. Newspapers are available to inmates and magazines may be purchased for inmates. Then they have the yard. Television is only available for special programs such as educational or religious themes. And then I guess they're not, I'm sure they can watch Judge Judy in there. I think so. And then they have, tabletop games. All right. So we're just trying to figure out what Shannon had access to or has access to while incarcerated. And this is going to lead us to the question of how they could have possibly pulled off a remote, I don't even know what to call it, how they got married while they were in two different places. Okay. And then mail, if you're trying to write them, I guess this is the information that you use. Accounts, contact info, payment methods. I don't have to go through all this stuff. Let's go to voicemail. Oh, so you can actually leave and call. Great. I don't know why they charge. These people should be free, according to me. All right. So they have video visitation. So that's available for friends and family to visit. I don't know why they're charging these people, but okay. In order to, they have a website of where folks could go. And then tablets, most important. Because the reason why this is more important to me is because if if they got married um, in a remote setting, Shannon would have to appear some way, somehow. So get into we're trying to get into the steps that they possibly had to take in order to make that a reality. So tablets. So friends and family can send messages and photos for a quarter per message, and then you can send all inmate telephone calls, messages, and visits are subject to monitoring. I mean, that's obvious. Okay, they don't really get you. They're not providing much information here. Then inmate money. Let's see, release. All right, so we're done with that. We are going to move on to the actual search. Okay. We're focusing on the timeline here. So let me close this. I'm closing this. And then we're moving on to the actual search. We have a timeline that we're trying to figure out. And we know December 11, 2023, Taisha, who was Shannon's fiance, alleged. I'm just gonna say allegedly because I don't know these people. Even with Sylvia, based on what I've based on what I've learned about this woman, I do not know. She might have, I'll leave it there. In any event, so we're moving on to the search. And then we are gonna go with last name. Do we want to type in Jackson or Stillwell? We'll go with Stillwell. And then first name, we go with Shannon. I know his middle name. I mean, it's somewhere on the what is that? All right, so here, even when you type in Shannon Stillwell, Shannon Jackson still pops up. The reason why we're doing this, we're trying to figure the date out. Who's this? I don't know. Keisha? So we're starting at the very top. Okay, so it's a whole bunch of charges out here. This is from 2010. Then it shows you that he was booked on 1/17/2010, released 7/19 2010. This is not, It's not relevant to what we're trying to figure out here. I mean, the dates are here too. The next one that we have here, this is Fulton County, and then we have a bunch of charges. Um, Dang, that's just 2 months after this, July, August, September. In any event. So he was booked September 2nd, 2010, released 11/9/2010. And then we have APD. Uh, so what, 9 days? So 9 days, he was booked again, 11/18/2010, released the following day. And then, dang, uh, here's a repeat of 117. And then this is APD again, 117/2011, released 123/2011, 127/2011, released 8/15/2011. You can go over the charges. I'm not going to go over the charges over there because my astigmatism is acting up. I can barely see. And then let's see. So booked. No, this is Keisha. I was like, what? I was like, how is he booked in in 1995? He would have been like, I don't know, 5 or something. Anyways, this is somebody else. I don't know if they're related or not, but it's none of our business. And then in August 24, 2013, he was booked, released about 2 months later. This is APD, also Fulton County. So he was on probation at some point, and they're saying, or they were alleging that he violated probation, or a lot of probation actually. And then we go to 2015. What year was this guy born? Wasn't he born in like the 90s or something? Because I think that they are. I think that is when I say they, I was thinking about Yak as well. I think when I looked Yak up, if I remember correctly, this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was trying to figure out the 40 years and how that factors into how old they are, and I figured it was a life sentence regardless. But one of them was 31 or something, if I'm not mistaken. In any event, it's not important right now. So he gets booked again July 16, 2015, released a day later. That's APD. And then 2015, we have October 27. Isn't there another October 27 up here? No, that's 127. Okay. So 2015 gets released. Dang, that was a lot of time. He gets released the following year, and we go to 2018, out a day later, and then here he's charged with some very serious charges. And then 2019, he's booked again, gets released 2020. And then in 2020, about 2 months later, he gets booked again. He gets released a few months later, but that's 2021. Probation warrant, possession of, whole bunch of stuff. And then we get to 2021. And then he's released about what, 3 months later. So here is what God, about to cuss. Hold on. I don't know why I did that. So this is what's relevant to our timeline. Okay. So Shannon gets booked 3/17 of 2022. There is no release date because he is still incarcerated. And then we see a lot of Nolly cases over here. That just means that the prosecution is not going to pursue those charges. I really cannot see. It's hard for me to see those. Okay, so he has about 4 of those. I was trying to, go along line, but I just cannot see that. Anyway, so these are charges stemming from 2015, allegedly, from 2015 all the way through 2023. So 2023, these are charges while he is already incarcerated. Okay, so we know that Shannon was booked 3/17/2022, and he was not released. He remains incarcerated. Okay. The reason why this date is important is because we are trying to figure out if if he was released at some point in line with this marriage certificate. All right. So we know March of 22, that's when he was booked. He was not released until I don't know, until this case resolves. I guess we'll find out how How I'm getting distracted. What is Ray saying? Oh, okay. When we get to the meats, potatoes, and tea of this, we already know his criminal history. We've been watching this trial daily like hogs. All right. Hang in there, patience. All right, so we're moving on from that release date because that's the and I know Ray cannot be on a jury. I don't think Ray can make it on a jury. So okay, we're moving on to the did I just close the wrong page? I hope I did not close the wrong page. I'd hate for that to happen. I think I closed the wrong page. Well, we're just gonna have to move on. All right, so we're moving on to Texas. I don't know where you are, but I don't know where you are, but we are moving on to Texas. All right. So let's see. The main question that I really wanted to know is whether a person can, in fact, get married via Zoom or other remote means in Texas. And the answer is yes, you can do that. They have a step by step guide. I don't know if you meet somebody special, you're trying to, get married. You can, and it's not just Texas. There are a whole bunch of states that actually allow you to do that. But there are requirements that you actually have to meet, okay, or qualify for. Okay. So that is not, that's not all that. So we are going to move on from there and we're going to actually look at the Texas State Law Library. That's what we're going to focus on. Like articles are great, but we need the actual law, okay? All right. So all right. Can a marriage ceremony in Texas be conducted remotely? We've covered that. Yes, it can. You can do that. But the reason why this is important is because in the comments there have been mention of a marriage by proxy. Well, according to Texas law, marriage by proxy is okay. Let me just read this. Marriage by proxy is when one person is unable to attend and authorizes another adult to fill in for them during the ceremony. Okay. This is important because we know that Shannon was not released. Okay. As of March 17, 2022, he remained incarcerated. Okay. And that's in Fulton County, that's in Georgia. Different state. Okay. There are at least, let me see, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, you have Alabama. So you kind of have to do a whole lot of hopping before you actually get to Georgia. All right. So, all right. So, is it possible that Shannon Stillwell had a marriage by proxy? Apparently not, because in Texas family code, marriage by proxy is only available to people serving in the military. He is incarcerated. He's not in no military. Okay. So that's for folks that are stationed in another country in support of combat or other military operation, and they are unable to attend. It's not like, oh, I'm in the military. I don't know, in Jersey City or whatever, and I cannot attend. That's not how it works. All right. So we know there's no way Shannon could have, marriage by proxy does not apply here because Shannon is incarcerated. He's not serving in the military. All right. But we're going to take our search, we're going to take it a bit further. We are going to take it a bit further. All right. Let's see. I mean, I've already said this, so I'm not even going to share the screen. Uh, what we wanted to know. Oh, actually, no. This is different. Because the initial question was, can you get married via Zoom or other remote means in Texas? If that was just the general. So I narrowed it down a little bit. So I wanted to know, can you get married through Zoom in Texas if you are in different states, okay? Because again, we go back to March 17 of 2022. Shannon has not left the sheriff, the what is this? The Fulton County Sheriff's custody. So I wanted to know, is it possible for somebody that is in Texas to get married to, another individual that's in a different state? I don't know, Oklahoma, Georgia, I don't know, Arkansas. So in Texas, in fact, that is a possibility. It is authorized. You can get married via Zoom in Texas if you are in different states, as long as at least one person is in Texas and the couple uses a remote ceremony. So right now, it kind of seems as though it could have been a possibility. Okay. But that's not where it ends. Okay. And then obviously the proxy portion or state, we've covered that. You have to be in the military in order to be able to do that, and not just be serving in the military, but you have to be in another country. And that does not apply here. But there are a host of other requirements that the parties would have to comply with in order for a Zoom marriage to be a reality. All right. And then we are going to move on a bit further. Let's see. So we're going to go back to the Texas State Law Library. We're going to go back over there. All right, let's see. What is Greg saying? Greg is saying that from what I've seen, Bumpus flew to Texas, filed the paperwork in March, and the paperwork was approved July 2024, and married August 2024 via Zoom. Greg goes on to say allegedly. And when you say from what you've seen, where have you seen this, Greg? Where have you seen this? Have you seen, I don't know, where have you seen this? I'd like to know. Where have you seen this? Because we can go down this rabbit hole. But we are going to move on to the state library. Hold on. Let's go to the state library. Okay. This overall just talks about marriage in Texas in terms of what it is that folks actually have to do, the requirements that you have to comply with. And this is past the marriage license portion, because the marriage license, and then, um, this is what follows the ceremony. So there's a 72-hour waiting period, and the rest of this, again, we have to emphasize marriage by proxy is available only if the absent person is a member of the armed forces stationed in another country in support of combat or some other military operation. So we have to emphasize that. That's important. And then they talk about before returning the marriage license to the county clerk who issued it, must record on the license the date of the ceremony, the county where it was performed, and their personal information. It must be returned no later than 30 days. Oh, I think I forgot to look at the license again, but we've seen the license. I'm not going to go through the trouble of finding it again. So, that you can run through that quickly if you're interested in getting married in Texas. Greg said that it was on Live Star Channel last night. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not tune in. Life is very entertaining, but he did not have the answers. And I don't know. He did mention, or at least from what I recall, he sounds to be somebody that's actually in Georgia. I do not know. So I'm not I'm not gonna go by what other folks are saying, because I don't want to get sued by these people. All right, so that's where we are. I'm gonna remove that, and then we are gonna move on. Let's see what's the next. Okay, right. So we have covered Texas. All right. So of interest is whether folks can actually get married remotely in Georgia. That's of interest because we all know that Shannon is incarcerated in Georgia. And from what I've researched, is that okay? So just beyond an individual being able to get married remotely in Georgia, that's it's a bit broad. We have to narrow it down. Can an inmate get married in Georgia? What we know is that, yes, an inmate can get married in Georgia if they meet certain requirements and receive authorization. All right. So it's not just good that two people have fallen in love and would like to spend the rest of their natural lives together, whether in the free world or when one is incarcerated. Um, there's a lot that actually goes into it. So let me share my screen. Let's get on to the. I know I'm talking really fast because I'm trying to get through this. Tomorrow's live, I'm covering the trial unless something, out of the ordinary happens. But tomorrow, 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern time is a bit too late for me. So let's go over here. All right, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen, which I am. All right, what's Greg saying? Greg said that it wasn't what Life. Is it Life or Lyle? Said it was a newsreel inserted in his life. I know. Is it Life? Is it the person whose channel we went to? I think it was one lifestyle or something along those lines. In any event, so this is important because if we want to know how Shannon would have been able, right, to get married as an incarcerated individual. So here are conditions. I mean, this is separate. Hold on. Okay, let me just explain this and then at the very end, we'll get somewhere. So we know that in Georgia, you can get married if you meet certain requirements as an inmate and you receive authorization. All right. So we have the Commissioner of Corrections. They can authorize, um, they can basically authorize for a chaplain to perform the ceremony. And then there's a financial responsibility. Apparently, the government does not, or the state does not want to pay for folks to, get married. And then transportation. Inmates cannot be transported to get a marriage license or to another institution for the ceremony. Okay. So, in order for an inmate to get married, there should be no transportation involved. And then we have the warden or superintendent. They must give prior approval. Okay. So, this is something that can actually be requested. This is a record that can be requested. If we get really nosy down the line, I can I can put in a records request from the warden or superintendent in order to actually get to the bottom of this. And then as far as digital camera, may be permitted for photos, but it must be checked at the reception desk before and after the ceremony. And then obviously the marriage license. All right. And then these are the conditions that you have to meet. And then in order to get a marriage license in Georgia, this is of no importance to us because this marriage license allegedly was obtained in Texas and not in Georgia. So we're not even going to get into all of that. All right. Okay, so this is just a recap. This is the actual official government website. You can go over there, look at offender what is this? Offender regulation. You can go look at the rest of those regulations that they have in Georgia for inmates to get married. And so we're going to stop sharing that and then we're going to move on to the next part. Let's see. This we've covered. Oh, I thought this was actually very interesting. So I so I looked further into Georgia, whether two inmates, I don't know why I did that, but I did. Whether two inmates in Georgia can actually get married. That is a possibility and that makes sense. But according to their regulations in Georgia, two inmates can get married as long as they're not housed together. Okay. So you're not going to be playing house under, um, or at least you're not going to be playing house while you are incarcerated with, I don't know, your bunkie or whoever. And then, what was also interesting here is that Georgia does not allow conjugal visits for married inmates. All right. So they don't allow none of that. And then let's see, what are we sharing? What are we sharing? So we're gonna move on. Okay, this is actual law. This is actual law. So let's Let's share this. All right, so this is actual law. This is not, gossip. This is real rules and regulations. Okay, I don't know if you see this on anybody else's YouTube page, but I'm an attorney, so I had to rely beyond Google. All right, so an inmate incarcerated in an institution under the jurisdiction of the state board of corrections may be married under the following conditions. And we've obviously gone over those conditions. It's a repeat, but we have to make sure that everything is legit and not just what Google was, spitting out. So we know that those are the regulations that he would have to comply with. All right. And then now we are going to move on. And then the other thing, I kind of touched base on this earlier. The question was whether it is possible to get married via Zoom if in Georgia if you are incarcerated, because we touched on Texas. We know that that is a possibility in Texas. The same applies for Georgia. So in Georgia, it is possible to get married via Zoom if you are incarcerated, but it requires additional, information. You'd actually have to go through some hoops, and a lot of the regulations around this remain the same. You cannot be transported. So it's not one of those instances where the department or the sheriff's office could have transported Shannon to Texas to get married and then take him back. They're not doing any of that. All right. And then obviously the inmate and spouse are responsible for all costs. The state, the government, they're not contributing to your wedding or your marriage or, the rest of that. Hi, Jasmine. Thanks for joining. And then let's see. Okay, we've covered this. So let's move on to. Oh, I thought this was interesting. I'm always going down rabbit holes. So let's go here. This is not legal. This is just some stuff I found. Some stuff I found on the internet. So somebody's talking about a fiance that's in jail and they wanted to get married. He's in the state of Georgia. And, and what's this website called? It just answers. This is family law. I don't practice family law. I hope I don't ever have to practice family law. But there's a website where folks with questions related to family law, they, pose questions in here, and then a real attorney answers their questions. And obviously they have different types of areas of law: bankruptcy, firearms, fraud, and the like. I really should have gotten my glasses because I cannot see. Okay, in any event, so she talks about how the fiance is in jail. They wanted to be married. He's in the state of Georgia, and the facility will not allow a marriage. And they need to know how to get married, how to get a marriage license without him being there to sign it. So there are a lot of logistics, obviously, that come into play when somebody's freedom or liberty is restricted. Okay. And then it's a big deal for this person because he's 65 and he or she is 52. They've been together for 8 years and the like. And then an attorney goes out there and gives them a solution on how to go about it. We've pretty much covered most of this, but it's not just Georgia. I've seen some other states in here. Oh, this is more Georgia, but I've seen folks asking questions about other states, active military. Somebody's incarcerated in the state of Texas where they no longer do proxy marriage. We've covered that. We've seen that they don't allow that unless you're active duty and you're in a different country and in combat. Okay. So they get more answers. I just thought that was interesting, and I'm kind of nosy. So another person in California, they want to get married. So from this, we know that it is not odd or out of the ordinary for, folks to get married to somebody that is incarcerated. In this case, it's not exactly odd, but it does complicate it does complicate matters. And that's primarily because, as we know, Kayla served as standby counsel for Woody in this case, and Woody was, I mean, he was not a very effective state witness, but but he was a state witness. And that does complicate matters. That is, it just complicates matters. If you're getting married to, allegedly, if you're getting married to a defendant that you appeared in as a defense attorney for a state's witness, no bueno. All right, so we are going to stop sharing that, and then we are going to move on. And let me see. All right, we're going to save this for the very end because this answers the ultimate question. And then we probably should have started with the very basics, right? The very basics, because we've seen the marriage license circulate around the website, we've seen it floating around. And the very basics, what is a marriage license? It is basically a legal document that permits a couple to get married. All right. That's what it is. The license itself is not evidence of a marriage ceremony. Um, it's a license. A marriage license is separate from a certificate, and we've seen at the requirements that somebody said Bumpus lives full time in Texas. No, Lewis, we've established this. Bumpus does not. She goes to Texas. Um, what I've heard on, or at least when we played the lead attorney, the lead attorney, Kayla does not live in Texas. She is from Georgia. She lives in Georgia. Occasionally, she goes to Texas, and I believe she said she was pro hac vice attorney. I think that's what she said. Pro hac vice just means that you are not licensed in that state, but they do give you authority to make an appearance in that court. Okay, it can be, I don't know, I can look up the requirements for pro hac vice admission in Texas, but no, she doesn't live in Texas. Okay, what was I saying? I got distracted. Got distracted. Okay. So let's move on. Let's find actually that certificate. Let us go and find that certificate. So we're going back to the Harris County Clerk's office. And let's see, how did we do it last time? I think I just typed in her name. So let's see if that yields any results. All right. So here, there's the license. God damn it. No, I'm not logging in. It's asking me to log in. I cannot log in. I don't have any type of authority to log in there. All right. So here are the dates. That's all we can work with because I cannot log in. All right. And then this is actually interesting. Bumpus. All right. Never mind. I keep getting distracted. Okay, so we cannot find the I could go on Twitter, but I don't feel like doing that. So we're just going to move away from okay. Here's something else that's on the Harris County clerk's office that I thought was interesting. Let's go there. All right. So this basically just gives you all the basics when it comes to getting married, at least in this specific county. Okay. They go on about how to obtain a marriage license and the like. There was something else here. Hold on. I should have opened it. Oh, apparently back in the day, folks needed to give blood tests in order to obtain a marriage license. They wanted to know that you weren't actually related. All right. Let's see. Talking about divorce. All right. Yeah, here's what I thought was interesting. whether parties can use a Harris County marriage license in another state within the United States. So what they provide is that the marriage license is valid in every county in the United States, and that makes sense just based off of federal law. Um, and then let's see. I want you to purchase a license in Harris County. They'll need to confirm, blah, 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 authority to sign, and the like. All right. So we're not going to really dwell a lot on this unless I miss something. Let me see. I hate this phrasing though, purchase a marriage license. I guess that's what you're doing, but and it kind of sounds weird. All right. And then there are questions about divorce. That does not apply here because we have no indication that any of these parties were married to any of these other folks. Who's this? Jasmine Lewis. We can go back to the lead attorney and let me just go on that page. That woman does not live permanently in Texas. Let me find what was that? What was the I know we watched it on Tuesday. I just cannot remember. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. So while I look for that, actually, I'm going to look for it on my phone. I'm going to look for it on my phone. And then while I am doing that, we can go on. I'm just going to play that interview of Stillwell's not so-called. Okay, this is Sylvia's page, okay? And she interviewed who's this? Stillwell's fiance at the time, who is hold on. We have royalty in here. So we have Jasmine Troublefield, and she is related to Kayla Bumpus. So please ask a question. She might know more about this. Actually, I'm just going to ask you, is your cousin married? Your so-called cousin, because I don't know. Is your cousin married to Shannon? Would like to know. So in the meantime, while Jasmine gives us that answer, I am going to play Sylvia's video while I look for the video from the lead attorney. Oh, so Jasmine does not recall if her cousin is married. All right. All right. So let me share that while I find that answer for you. One moment. Let's get in here. I don't know why a countdown does not,
Hello, Miss Alexander. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Miss Sylvia.
So, tell us a little bit about what happened. Do you know exactly what happened in the jail, or?
Well, I don't know exactly what happened. I'm sorry. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. I don't know what actually happened, but I do know now from speaking with his lawyers that he was stabbed 2 times in the back and in the stomach. He's in recovery right now. He was in surgery for 2 hours, but he is in recovery right now, and his lawyers are on the way to see him now.
Okay. Do you know who did it?
No, ma'am.
Was it the same person that did it that stabbed him last year?
I don't know because he was supposed to be in protected custody, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who did it.
Do you know about what time this happened?
Yes, ma'am. Like around, it had to be like 10:40, 11-ish.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So when it happened, when I got the call, I just called his grandma, and then I started calling the jail. We all calling the jail now. No one was answering, so I just went there. I just drove there.
Okay.
So I didn't get there till about 1:30-ish, and I stayed till like 3:30.
Oh, 3:30 in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you said the surgery took about 2 hours. Did they have surgery on his back as well?
See, his lawyer said he was gonna call me because he just know that he got stabbed in the back and the stomach.
Okay.
So he said the surgery took 2 hours. So he said it was pretty bad. It had to be pretty bad.
So he's stable, right?
They said he's stable. He's in recovery, so I don't really know. I don't know.
So have you called the hospital? Will they give you information?
Oh yeah, they said because I just left the jail before I got home, and they told me that don't go to Grady because they'll lock me up.
Why would they lock you
That
up?
don't make sense.
I guess because they got him hidden and protected. Like now he's back in protected custody. I guess like he's isolated, so I can't go down there looking for him and stuff like that because I'll get locked up. They just told me that when I just left.
Why would you get locked up?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay. All right. Just know that you and your family are in our prayers. There's anything else that you would like me to share with the people to let them know what's going on with you?
I just want to say thank you everybody that's reaching out, and Shannon is very strong, so he's gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. Great, great. All right. Thank you so much for
Miss Sylvia has such a sweet voice. She has such a sweet voice. All right. So I've found we're gonna settle this, okay? Louis, Jasmine, let's settle this whole thing. I found the live. Let me share my screen. I just hope we don't have to, listen to too much of that. Let's see. Share screen. Did I find it? All right, here. All right, so this is
let's first just introduce.
All right, this is the live that we watched a few days ago. I recall Kayla saying that she was pro Hag Vice out of Texas and that she is from Atlanta, but I have Jasmine, who does not recall being Kayla's cousin, and I believe Louis in the very beginning of this said otherwise. So let's get started.
Yourself, let everybody know who you are, where you practice, and kind of orient everybody as to who Miss Kayla Bumpus is, please.
I practice about 50% criminal and 50% personal injury.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows because I see on the internet that I started off in the DA's office. I was there for about 1.5 years before I went out on my own. But
okay, so let's jump in right there because that's very interesting. You mentioned that you were in the DA's office. Were you when you say the DA's office, the district attorney's office, are you talking about the same district attorney's office that we're watching right now, the district attorney's office in Fulton County?
Yes, but I worked under the Paul Howard administration.
No, okay, them was some days. We ain't gonna get into it, but them was some days. So are you from Atlanta or where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta.
All right. And Atlanta native, listen, we are hard to find. All right. All you guys come down from New York, New Jersey.
Hold on. So Jasmine, what do you mean? Why did life need representation? Please tell me. Put it down in the chat because I want to know because it's kind of nosy.
Everything. Y'all are diluting us. All right. So Miss Bumpus is from Atlanta, and then she started working at some point in the DA's office. And then you mentioned that you were there for about 1.5 years. You worked under the previous administration, not in fame.
AV looks like such a proud mom. Like she's just out there grinning.
Annie's Fawny, not in her office or not while she was at the helm, but the previous district attorney, Paul Howard. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so you practice about half criminal and then half PI, personal injury. So you making that money. All right, Ms. Bumpus, got it.
Honey.
And you not only do you practice here in Atlanta, but you also practice is it in Texas as well?
Houston. Yeah, I live in Houston, but I'm not all the way barred there yet. They have reciprocity with Georgia, but I do anticipate to be barred pretty soon.
Awesome. All right. So she making money in multiple states.
All right. So I do stand corrected. She does live in Houston, or at least at the time of this recording, which is 4 months ago, she lived in Houston.
Guys. All right. Let's kind of start at the beginning, and we have your
no, we're not doing that. We're gonna end right there because hold on. All right, so we are coming to an end here. Let me see. Now, the only thing that's left is the ultimate question, okay? So this is why you've all joined. This live is coming to an end. The ultimate question, because that is at the very beginning of this, I said that it is hard for me to believe that Kayla Bumpus is involved with Shannon. I do not know her personally, but as an attorney, I would think that she has better judgment than that. I've emphasized absolutely nothing wrong with, an attorney getting married to somebody that's on trial, somebody that possibly has convictions or multiple convictions. That's their business. Uh, Human beings are human beings, okay? That's their business. But I still struggle to. It's just because based on what we've seen, there's not been enough information there for me to believe. There's nothing that led me to believe that Kayla, in fact, had a relationship or any type of association with Shannon beyond a professional relationship, her being an attorney or his attorney and representing him. Okay. So that's what I've kind of struggled with. And I said from the very beginning, had somebody come out there with a rumor saying that Kayla and Woody go together, Kayla and Woody have, they're dating, they have a relationship, they are engaged, they got married. That to me would have been a bit more believable because there's a lot of content of Kayla and Woody hanging out together. All right. What I struggled with, though, is obviously a lot of the questions that I had, most of the questions we had, 99% of the questions that I had, and possibly some of you folks had as well, were answered in this video. But there's still one question remaining. But before I answer that question, I just had all these questions that were floating around that I quite could not figure out. I'm like, okay, this does not make sense. This does not make sense. A lot of things were not making sense. Um, but had somebody come out there and said that no, Woody and Kayla go together, I would have believed that. And I mean, from what I've seen, Woody appears to be a very chilled person. I'm pretty sure Shannon might be a chill person as well when when he's in the free world, but now he's incarcerated. So we don't get to see his personality or what he's like. And frankly, that's not important right now because he's on trial for very serious charges. Um, but that said, I still, out of everything, I've gone through all these questions that I had. I've tried to find answers to these questions, but I think that one question has still not been answered, and I'll have that answer shortly here. I just need to see what's happening here. Let's see. So Jasmine says being from Atlanta does not mean she lives in Atlanta. No, I get that. I'll give you that. I agree. And then okay, you talk about Paul. I'll have to put this up here because I cannot read, cannot see this. You haven't said anything wrong. This is not a bashing session. I'll definitely subscribe to your page. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Lewis says, you see all the characters in this case. I would not put it past them. I mean, Lewis, that's let's put it this way. And I mean, Donald Trump is he's scheduled to get sentenced in New York, November 26th. So I will have a video. I mean, it's close to Thanksgiving. I'm traveling to New Orleans and I'm just gonna be chilling and make my way up to Mississippi and I'll be eating. So, but I do plan on going live. If I don't go live, the video will be pre-recorded. Okay. In any event, I want to give Kayla the benefit of the doubt. But then again, when you say the shady characters in this case, I understand because I had extended the same benefit to what's her name? Funny. What's Funny's last name? I forgot her last name. When Funny was in, I just could not believe it because I mean, I've been on YouTube for quite some time. I've not really actively been on YouTube, but I'd post here and there sporadically, mostly Judge Judy and Judge Mathis content. But I do follow trials. Um, I just never really talked about them. And during my time as a public defender, it was hectic because I was actually in court all the time, so I could not be consistent. But now that I do litigation, I'm mostly in the office. Um, so I do get to listen to trials sometimes as I work in the background, the same way that some folks play music in the background. So I usually have trials on. But that said, um, I did not want to believe that Fannie is a Willis. I think it's Willis. Yeah, Jasmine, thank you. I did not want to believe that Fannie Willis would compromise her job. Not even her job, but it just, it complicated the case. It was I wouldn't say it was an easy case, but that's a case that possibly could have led to a conviction with, you know, very few complications. And I mean, Donald Trump is about the law. Whether you like Donald Trump or don't like Donald Trump, I've said it in my prior videos, he's above the law. Okay. He does not, he gets opportunities that ordinary defendants, criminal defendants do not get. So, in any event, I don't know why she was messing around with what's his name, Nathan Wade. I mean, the guy's kind of handsome, but I don't think him being handsome is worth compromising a case of that magnitude. I mean, he might be more than handsome. He might have done some other things. I don't know, but I just, and that's what I'm saying. She went to church. She was on the pulpit. She assured everybody. She had no relations with that man. And what did we find out down the line? That she was vacationing with a man in Belize. They were doing all types of things. So yeah. So Lewis, I have to give you that one. That's the complication about Fulton County, because as soon as you think you're like, okay, it's over, there's nothing else here, it just gets worse. Let's see. I'm just trying to get through all these comments before I answer the last question, the very last question. Yeah, I have to put these on the screen because I just cannot read the chat. The chat, I cannot read. The print is too small. This print is still kind of small. Lewis says, if it wasn't for the verified marriage certificate and the non-denial, I wouldn't believe it either. But for me, I think the reason why Kayla is not talking about this, I mean, one, it's really her business. So that's her business. We're just the nosy folks. But I think the reason why she's not addressing it is because it is good for the growth of her channel. That is from my point of view. And then let's see, Jasmine. Kayla has known Woody and the whole YSL way before trial. She's the godmother. Right. I found out about the nephew, and as far as them knowing each other, it's, it's kind of different. Because I was thinking about this trial. For the folks that were off today, I kind of envy you, because I went to work and I had to go to the post office, but then the post office was closed, and I was like, why is the post office closed? That's when it hit me. Not everybody was working. In any event, I'm all over the place. I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say, Jasmine. So I'm just going to move on. The visitation records would tell the story, even though she's representing him on for what? On for the accident? I don't know. We go with Ray. Ray, thank you so much. You're such a ray of fucking sunshine. Let's go on to Greg. Could it be a conspiracy between Bumpus and Sylvia to gain clicks and views for people to bounce between channels? That's why people are interested. It's a fake beef. I did not consider that. I mean, Sylvia did allude to the fact that I think she alluded to the fact that Kayla was not, in fact, being contacted by or through fake numbers, something along those lines. I don't quite remember, but there was something along those lines. I actually did not think about that. I did not think about that. But you do raise a good point, Greg. But that still does not answer how that marriage license ended up on the Harris County's website. Because had it been a hoax, somebody would have taken it down by now. But that's what's puzzling here. Ooh, Jasmine has all the tea, honey. Said she was doing whatever and taking trips with one of her colleagues. She's on trial now. Who are you talking about, Jasmine? Who are you talking about when you say they were, I don't know, doing whatever? Who are you referring to? Okay. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be a way of promoting. Jasmine's funny. All right, so let's get to the very final question, okay? So we've answered, just to recap briefly, we've answered that in Texas, you can get married via remote means, okay? We've answered that. We've also established that in Georgia, you can get married via remote means. We've established that in both Texas and Georgia, an inmate can get married, okay? They can get married while they are incarcerated. They don't have to wait 10, 20, 30 years to be released. You can sign the paperwork, have somebody have some hope to be released and the like. But the one thing that we have not answered so far is, or what I wanted to know, can you get married via Zoom in Texas if you are incarcerated in Georgia? Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That is what I wanted to know, and I have the answer, because I think that is the ultimate answer to this whole saga. No, you cannot get married via Zoom in Texas if you are incarcerated in Georgia. All right. So that is not a possibility. And even though they offer remote means to get married, it's not something that can be done via Zoom if you are incarcerated in Georgia. They're not letting you get married in Texas. Okay. So that is the ultimate answer. So let's see. Okay, Jasmine says that it's not a fake beef. All right. Jasmine goes on to say that she never wanted to be involved in the case at all, but she stepped up for a good friend. Okay, Jasmine. Okay, so you were talking about funny, and then Lewis goes on to say AI is not reliable. I am going with AI in this case. Okay, this is my response. It doesn't make sense for a when you are incarcerated, you lose a lot of your freedoms and liberties. You're not going to be incarcerated and they're not going to let you do whatever it is that you want to do. I can dig further into this. I can look up actual case law, because as I was preparing this, I was like, oh, maybe I should look up actual case law, but I had to work. So tomorrow, if you're interested, I mean, I'd probably just I'd probably spend a minute on it, really, because I'd like to move on to actual cases. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. It has been great entertaining you all. I have to call it a night. I have to be up in 5 hours, and the show goes on. All right, signing off.